Check this out.
Okay, so let's dive in. Today, we're doing a deep dive into... Our source is these excerpts from Walking Alone with Inner Truth. That's by the Reverend Point Blank.
Walking alone with the inner truth, the unperturbable essence. So what do we do with this time that we have alone? This minute, this moment? Because right now, it's truly all that we own. So what do you do with this spirit, this body, this house, this home? It's given to you alone for you to choose where you roam. Check your habits. Check your heart. What you lost, what you keep, what's feeding your soul and what's stealing your sleep. You got 24 hours spinning round in a day, but you ain't promised 1 minute. Life don't work that way. We spend 8 hours for the hustle, trading times for a check. Another 8 hours under blankets trying to get some rest. And 8 of them disappear into errands and plans, into habits and the noise that life demands from our hands. And when all is said and finished, tell me, my friend, where's the hour for you? Where does your time begin? You give your strength to your job and your heart to the grind. But the business is you. Your spirit is your mind. You're the engine, the vessel, the leader, and the key. You're the one steering life, not a job, not for a fee. Well, I suggest you take 1 hour, just 60 small minutes. Sit quietly with yourself and put your whole soul in it. Ask, what am I doing? Where am I headed? What habits uplift me and the ones that must be deaded? What do I love? What makes my heart rise? What is the truth that's buried in my practice lies? What flame is in my chest that I would follow for free? What's the gift that was set at the core that God gave me? Find that one thing and let the rest fade away. Tell all the distractions and weaknesses, well, not today. You see, you have 5 senses that tempt and pull you. So sometimes you just don't know what to do. And now your feelings end up making you look like fools. And please understand, you must pay your dues. But the 6th sense should be the one that should make all the rules. So cast out the nonsense out your mind and let the 6th sense choose. The 6th sense is the one that should always make you whole. It keeps you warm in a place and you will never be cold. That is your compass, your wisdom, your divine inner guide. That's the part that knows the only peace that's found inside. So take that 1 hour, sit still, breathe deep. Look inside your eyes and wake up from that sleep. Because if you don't know yourself, if your soul stays unknown, how can you build a life that's truly your own? So breathe still. Take an inventory of yourself and see. If you don't like who you are, how can you choose what you will be? Point blank, enjoy your time.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are tackling something huge, really, something fundamental. And, well, honestly, something most of us kind of struggle with managing our time. We're going to be dissecting this really powerful piece of reflective writing. It asks us to, account for every single minute. And maybe more importantly, to stop ignoring the person who actually owns those minutes, which is you. We're diving into a poem called Walking Alone with Inner Truth, the unperturbable essence. It's pretty stunning, quite direct, a real challenge to the modern hustle culture we're all swimming in.
And the person throwing down that challenge, the Reverend Point Blank. It's important to get his perspective. He's described as a world-traveled comedian life coach. He shares these, profound truths, you could say the gospel, but through comedy. Makes it approachable. He really understands the world's demands, but he keeps insisting on the sacredness of the spirit. You can find his work, his reflections, comedy, coaching, all that stuff at weJustChillin.com and, the usual social media spots. So the mission here, it isn't just about motivation. It's more like an urgent strategic intervention, if you like. This poem really makes you rethink how you treat your time, that ultimate unpurchasable thing, and helps you find that authentic inner self, the one that often gets buried under, everything else, responsibilities, noise, you name it.
Yeah, it's like a dose of harsh reality, but wrapped in poetry. It really demands you focus right now on where your energy is actually going. Okay, let's unpack this. So, the Reverend point blank kicks things off by laying down this ultimate premise: scarcity and ownership. He just states it plainly. This minute, this moment, right now is all we truly own. It's this really urgent reminder, isn't it? That you ain't promised 1 minute. Life don't work that way. That immediacy, wow.
Exactly. We kind of live with this illusion that we've got all the time in the world, right? Always putting off reflection or, self-care until later. But the poem just rips that safety net away. It forces us to look at the cold, hard math of an average day.
And the math is, it's brutal.
Yeah.
He takes the standard 24-hour cycle and just dissects it. Shows how little is really left for internal ownership. So first, you've got those 8 hours for the hustle, right? Trading your unique, your finite time for a paycheck. That's a third of your life, bam, gone. Dedicated to some external thing.
Then the next 8 hours, he calls it time under blankets, basically rest, recovery, sleep. And we can't really negotiate that, can we? Our bodies just demand it. So, okay, that's 2/3 of the day accounted for.
And that final third, that last block of 8 hours, it just seems to disappear.
Into what? Into the endless vortex, as he puts it, of just maintenance, into errands and plans, into habits and the noise life demands from our hands.
Yeah.
It's like the hidden tax of just being alive. Cooking, cleaning, commuting, appointments, scrolling, all that admin stuff.
Yeah, that third 8-hour block is fascinating because technically it is free time, right? But functionally, it's basically another block of commitments. It's where decision fatigue just takes over. By the time you finish the errands and the plans and everything else, your mental battery is just flat. So the question that hits you then is the real kicker. After all that necessary stuff, where's the hour for you? Where does your time begin? That silence between those blocks is just, deafening. If you take out the time for your employer, the time for sleep, the time for just maintaining life, where does the actual self get, like a regular slot? This poem insists on this huge shift in how we see things. You give your strength, your focus, your heart to the job, sure. But the real, the non-negotiable business is you, your spirit. It's your mind.
Right. And if we let that business of the self just default, if we keep filing for emotional bankruptcy day after day, the whole system eventually just collapses, which leads us straight into this idea of self-sovereignty, the identity the poem's built on, the unpurchasable essence.
The Reverend point blank doesn't just suggest you have control, he kind of declares it. It's inherent. You are the engine, the vessel, the leader, and the key. You are steering the whole show. It's not the outside world, not the job, not the fee, dictating your path. It's supposed to be the self.
I think we need to pause there for a sec, because that statement, you are the engine, it can feel, contradictory, can't it? Especially when you're stuck in traffic or stressed about bills or dealing with some crisis you didn't ask for. We often feel more like a passenger just being dragged along. The poem isn't denying the external pressures, not at all, but it's redefining who gets the final say. If you are the vessel, like he says, then the health of that vessel, that has to be the priority.
And checking that health requires an immediate inventory.
Yeah.
Like you can't steer a boat if you don't know if there's a hole in the hull, right? The poem really stresses this need for a tough, honest look inside right now. Check your habits, your heart, what you lost, what you keep, what's feeding your soul, and what's stealing your sleep.
This is really the difference between actively living and just passively existing. We drift into habits, maybe ones that cost us sleep or peace or energy, just because we never pause to actually check the inventory. We have to identify, with brutal honesty, which habits lift us up and which ones need to be, and he uses this great term, deaded.
Yes, that's such a powerful word choice, deaded. When he says a habit must be deaded, he means completely gone, stopped dead. It's not about trimming it back or doing it less often. It's about recognizing this thing is actively draining your unique, unpurchasable resource, your time, your energy, and it just has to stop. determining.
And the active, honest inventory, that's what points towards the solution. Once you see where the leaks are, you absolutely need dedicated, intentional time to start the repairs.
Okay, so here's where it shifts from diagnosis to actual concrete action. And I love this part. The solution he proposes isn't some massive impossible thing like a 6-month retreat or something. No, it's specific. And it feels incredibly achievable. He suggests taking just 1 hour, 60 small minutes, and dedicating it entirely to reflection. Sit quiet with yourself, put your whole soul in it, just 60 minutes.
What's fascinating, though, is the resistance most people feel to even that, just 60 minutes. It can feel terrifying, honestly, because silence often means facing those practiced lies we tell ourselves. It's so much easier to distract yourself with another errand, another notification, than to sit still and ask, am I actually happy?
Exactly. And during that hour, that kind of sacred hour, you're meant to ask yourself the really hard questions, the necessary ones, the ones that uncover truths you might have buried. He starts with the foundational check-in. What am I doing? Where am I headed? I mean, if you can't answer that, even roughly, then you're probably just drifting, right? Not steering. But it doesn't stop at just direction. It really probes your integrity. It asks, what truth have I buried behind practiced lies? We all have those maybe little lies we tell others, but the most dangerous ones. They're the lies we tell ourselves, about why we can't change or why we have to stay stuck in some miserable situation.
And then it shifts again, moving into purpose. Seeking out the genuine core of who you are, the stuff money can't buy or define, it asks. What flame in my chest would I follow for free? Now that question, that's the ultimate test for authenticity, isn't it? If you wouldn't do it for free, how much of your life is actually just dictated by external validation, by the paycheck?
And then the spiritual side of it. What gift did God place at the core of me? And this isn't about professional skills listed on a resume. It's about inherent worth, your purpose, the talent that exists outside your job title or your to-do list.
Right. And the goal of this focused 60-minute session isn't necessarily to map out your whole 5-year plan right then and there. It's more about finding that one foundational anchor point, that central truth for right now. The immediate result of doing this reflection is clarity. Find that one thing and let the rest fall away, he says. It empowers you to look at all those external pressures, that constant distraction and weakness, and just say, not today. It's like the ultimate act of finally prioritizing your inner voice.
And this shift in priority, it naturally leads to the idea of guidance. Where do we get our direction from? The Reverend point blank acknowledges, look, we are constantly influenced by our physical senses. That's normal. The 5 senses tempt and pulls you, leading to impulses, feelings that can sometimes make us look like fools. And often that leads to paying the dues. The emotional cost, the financial cost, the relational fallout from bad decisions based on impulse.
Yeah, the problem isn't the senses themselves. It's how we weigh them against our internal compass, our intuition. We're always reacting, aren't we? To what we see, what we hear, what we want right now. We let external stuff, loud opinions, shiny objects, immediate comfort, we let that set the rules for us.
So the poem introduces the countermeasure, the sixth sense, this inner guide. And this is the thing that should be the one that should make all the rules. It's that quiet voice of wisdom inside. Yet, how often do we just dismiss it? We often just, cast it out of your mind, right? Choosing instead to follow some fleeting feeling or whatever seems convenient at the time.
It's basically your internal GPS, your inherent wisdom, the divine inner guide, as he calls it. And when you activate that sixth sense, when you actually start listening to it, the poem promises that's the one that makes you whole. It sets you on a clear direction. That inner clarity just cuts through all the noise from the outside world.
What I find really powerful, though, is how the poem connects this internal compass to the external search for well-being. Peace, happiness, whatever you call it. The inner guide is the part that knows peace is found outside. Now, that sounds like a contradiction at first, doesn't it? But it's actually the key insight.
Yeah, it sounds tricky, but it makes sense when you unpack it. It's not saying peace is found away from the world, like hiding in a cave. No. It's saying the knowledge, the wisdom to find peace that comes from inside, but the actual experience of peace, that happens as you correctly navigate the external world using that inner guidance.
Right. Your inner guide tells you which job to say no to, maybe which argument to just walk away from, or which path actually aligns with your core truth. It gives you the filter you need to correctly process those 8 hours of hustle and those 8 hours of errands and noise.
Exactly. If you don't know your own truth, you'll just constantly chase external versions of peace, a new car, a bigger job title, another vacation, and it'll always be fleeting, right? Because it's not rooted inside. The internal guide gives you the conviction to make choices that uphold your peace, even if those choices are unpopular or maybe don't make the most money in the short term. That's what navigating the external world in an informed way really means.
So after all this intense inventory, this deep dive into the self, the final call to action is, well, it's simple to say, but incredibly hard to do consistently. So breathe, sit still, take inventory and see. It demands that moment of quiet confrontation, where you finally recognize that you are the essential thing. Not the job, not the chores, not the demands, you.
And the whole point of this deep dive into self-knowledge, it's captured right there in the final kind of sobering takeaway lines. If you neglect this inner truth, if your soul just stays unknown, buried under everything else, then how can you build a life that is truly your own? A life that is truly your own. That's a life chosen by your inner guide, not just one imposed on you by external necessity or expectation.
That's the critical link, isn't it? Between knowing yourself and making conscious choices. If you don't know who you are deep down, how can you possibly choose who you want to be? You'll just default. Default to who others expect, or who the economy needs you to be, or who you think you should be.
The poem identifies the self as the engine, the vessel, the leader, and the key, the absolute priority. So this raises a really important question for you, the listener, to take away and actually apply. Like today. We spent a lot of time talking about that third 8 hours, the errands, the habits, the noise. So what is one specific, maybe routine external demand? Could be checking email the second you wake up, maybe constantly running some non-essential errand for someone else, maybe a time-sucking social media habit. What's one thing you could consciously reclassify today? Understanding that the time spent on it isn't really owned by you until you prioritize and actually consult that divine inner guide first.
That is the challenge right there. The inventory doesn't end when those 60 minutes are up. That's just the beginning. That's when the practical application really starts. So yeah, we encourage you, find those 60 small minutes this week. Start the inventory. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Hey, what's up, Pops? Everything cool?
Everything cool. You know, I'm just chilling.